Hello, I have the book that I wanted to share with you again from Share Jesus Without Fear. So let's go into this passage for today. Several years ago, I began asking Christians to think about how many times they heard the gospel before they came to a point of trusting in Jesus as Savior. I found that Christians heard the gospel an average of 7.6 times before surrendering to Christ after the seventh time. Therefore, on average, the lost person received Jesus just after the seventh touch. You may not know whether the person standing beside you has been touched once, or has been touched 6 times, but this doesn't matter because success is found in obedience. Success found in obedience. Have you ever witnessed to someone who did not then accept Jesus Christ? How did you feel and how did you respond? Remember, when your witness does not result in the immediate surrender of a person's life to Christ, you are likely to be one of several touches of God in the lost person's life. Being witnessed to and hearing a sermon are just two of the many ways God may touch the person's life. For the lost persons in your life, you may be the key that opens their heart to God, or you may represent one of 7 or 8 knocks on his or her heart's door. You may be the first touch. You may be 7 or 10 or 30. A passion for witnessing is more like love than determination. Jesus had a passion that drove him to make the way of salvation known in spite of rejection, suffering, and ultimately the cross. He proclaimed his desire for us to share his heart for lost people when he said, "As the Father has sent me, I also send you." A great deal is written today about the need for churches to be driven by appropriate purpose and vision. The book of Acts could not be clearer as it presents the purpose and passion driving the church to share with the world what Jesus came to do. Jesus was driven by his mission to bridge the dark, wide abyss that separates a person from being reconciled to God. When confronted by the Sadducees for sharing the gospel, Peter and John answered, we are unable to stop speaking about what we have seen and heard." Success is found in obedience. So, as this book says, we may be the first time someone has been witnessed to. Um, we may be the fifth time, the 20th time, the 30th time, and the person still may not be able to turn their lives over and surrender to God and go into his saving and loving grace. I witnessed that myself, and I have to say, um, when I came across the person, they basically were like, they didn't want to hear it. They're like, "Well, yeah, that works for you. That's fine. That's great. I respect you and your beliefs, but it doesn't work for me." They were just like point blank, period. And so I was kind of like, "What do I say now, Lord?" So he was like, "Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Thank them for listening to you and don't say nothing. Move on." And that's what I did. And so you may be the first person to witness to a person, or the 10th or the 20th, as I said, and as his book said, even 30. But if they eventually give themselves over to Christ, then you have succeeded in being successful and obedient to Christ to witness the gospel to that person. Because as Peter and John said, we are unable to stop speaking about what we have seen and heard. And that is so true when you are witnessing for Christ. So don't give up. Even for we ourselves, when we came to Christ, a lot of us may have came as children, but some of us didn't really even understand what it was really like to have, or what it is really like to have a relationship with Jesus Christ until we became older adults, some in college, some in high school, some now. So it does not matter as long as we accept Christ and we share the word of this gospel. And that goes to for sharing it with children too, because children understand it, and children get it too, because God gives them a supernatural presence of angels around them to be able to comprehend, just like we as older people do. So be obedient and don't give up in sharing the gospel to others. All right, be blessed. I hope you're having a wonderful, awesome day. And like I always say, don't waste a second, a minute, an hour of your day without telling God you love Him, your family, and make it your best day ever. And remember, life is short. Make it sweet. Be blessed.